Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Today, first and foremost, before I even get into the topic of today's video, I want to thank everybody so very much for contributing to the channel, whether it be liking, subscribing, commenting on my videos. I've gained 100 subscribers throughout the month of February. It's the shortest month, but it's been the month with my biggest gain. So again, thank you guys oh so very much. I also, the gem video that I posted that 6 days ago, I think. The gem video is performing incredibly well. The gem video is actually outproducing all of my other videos throughout the first 6 days by 200%. That is absolutely insane to me. So I've gained 100 followers. My gem video is outperforming all my other videos by 200%. It's tough for me to even wrap my brain around, and I want to thank you guys so very much for contributing to that. With that, a reminder, if you like the content that you're seeing, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the videos so that I know that I'm doing a great job with my videos. It's definitely a great amount of encouragement that I see all of everybody just liking, commenting, subscribing. It's really making me want to get in here and put out more content, more videos for you guys. So I do really appreciate that. And a huge thank you to Storm and I Am Bowling for their continued support throughout this entire process. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing nowadays without their love and support. So I can't thank Storm and I Am Bowling enough. But with that said, we're going to go into today's topic. Before I do, I forgot one other thing. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how you can save yourself 20% off of your Logo Infusion or I Am Bowling order. Now that we got that all out of the way, the topic of today's video is my March what is in the bag. So we're going to go over what are in all three of my bags. So I have my main bag, my second main bag, and then a shadow bag. The shadow bag is what I bring along to tournament. It might come with me to some tournaments. It might not come with me to some tournaments. It might just stay in the car, especially if I'm too lazy to bring more than two bags in. Or the shadow bag could definitely be coming along if I have my little ball chauffeur, Sarah, my girlfriend. If she comes with me, then I'll probably bring all three bags in. But regardless, I'll go through all the 9 balls that are in my arsenal that I bring along to tournaments. I think that's all I got. You guys stay tuned, see what's in the bag. And then you're just going to let go. So what you want to do is you want to make the fast fire down here. And we'll draw a line. That's the bowling ball. And we're going to draw that line. Fair drill that I do it for myself, and I do it for the high school kids that I coach. So let's dive into what is in my bag for the month of March. A lot of these balls, I would say at least half of these balls are going to be repeats from the month of February. However, I do have some new additions that I have added in. As you can see, the first one in front of me is the Rotogrip Gem. That is the latest edition. It'll come out on March 11th. Now, before I dive into all of this, I do want to mention that I'm going to be sharing a lot of my stats. These stats come from PinPal. A lot of these balls, because I have so many balls that I have drilled up and done reviews on, some of these balls might not have a ton of games on them. However, I do like the ball reaction and shape, and I'll explain that to you guys later. I do have two major tournaments this month that I know of. I have the Wisconsin State Championship, men's state, essentially. That'll be happening 2 weeks. So that'll be probably the biggest tournament that I'm bowling. A lot of these balls that you see here will be coming with me. I do have a tournament. It's called the Pine Grove Open. That'll be contested on some wood lanes. So the balls that you see here might not actually come with me to that center because obviously it's wood lanes. You're going to have a lot of different stuff that you want to use on wood lanes. Maybe not necessarily the stuff you see here. So regardless, these are going to be the balls that I bring along to at least state. We'll see about the other tournament, but we'll dive into it. The first ball that you see here is the all-new Rotogrip Gem. This ball comes out on March 11th, I believe. So with this Rotogrip Gem, I'll show you guys my layout here as well. I have the pin just below the ring finger. CG is kicked out way from the thumb here. It is a 40 by 4.5 by 70 pin down layout. My stats with this ball, I have 7 games with the Rotogrip Gem. Let me orientate that to where you can see the beautiful logo again. So again, I have 7 games with this Rotogrip Gem. I have a 221 average, a high game of 228, strike percentage of 59%. If I were to pick up all of my spares, I would have a 224 average. My spare shooting has been absolutely pathetic lately. So again, that would be a 224 average if I were to pick up all of my spares. This ball is very versatile to me. I used it in traveling league. We had a traveling league on Sunday. We go throughout a couple different houses, put out the 2021 team pattern from the USBC Open Championships. So I used this one. It was very versatile for me. I played out the first game and a half, 2 games. I love the look I got. I really kind of flattened my hand out, got up the back of the ball a little bit with that pin down sort of drilling. It got me through the fronts really, really clean, and then had a decent reaction to it towards the back part of the lane. Really had a nice bite to it to try and kind of carry that back row a little bit more. Once we got into a little bit more transition, I was able to move left quite a bit. I think I moved like a total of 15 boards left with this ball. Got around it a little bit more. Still had enough energy to kind of get through the fronts okay and really have some great pin carry towards the back part of the lane. So this ball is incredibly versatile. It likes oil. You're definitely going to need oil for this ball. For me, it doesn't necessarily like a league shot, but I think that's because there's not as much volume on a league shot as there is on a lot of these heavier volume sports shots. So this ball likes oil. It's a very versatile ball. I love it. Might be one of the first couple balls that come out of my bag. All right, next we have a repeat from the month of February. It's going to be my Phase 4. Drilling on this one, it is the same as the Gem, except it's a symmetrical ball, so you don't have the mass bias. You only have the center of gravity. This ball equates to a 40 by 4.5 by 70. Again, pin below the ring finger. CG has kicked out a fair amount to the, what would it be, left side of the bowling ball. I have 13 games now with this Phase 4. I have a 250 average with it. I have 2 279 games with it. 75% strike percentage, a 251 average if I were to convert all of my spares. For me, this is a control piece. It doesn't really jump too well. It reads the mid lanes actually very well for a symmetrical ball. I really do love this ball. It's probably going to be the first ball out of my bag. You know, generally speaking, if we're on some sort of, if we're on sort of an average pattern, sort of a mid pattern, doesn't have a ton of volume, but a fair amount. You can certainly use this ball on some heavier volumes, but if we're on a little bit heavier volume, I might use my Gem or a couple of the other balls that'll come later. But again, this ball it's a great ball for me. It's actually a pearl benchmark piece for me. Generally going to be the first ball out of my bag. I can use this when we start the block. Kind of controls that fresh pattern a little bit, and you can also use it when the lanes dry up. Kind of use it on some beat up patterns and really kind of control the pattern that way as well. So that is the Phase 4. All right, next up, you guys know I can't go anywhere without an Idol Helios. So this is going to be the Idol Helios. It has the same layout as the ball I shot 900 with. Obviously, this isn't the same ball. That ball is long retired. But this has the same layout as the 900 ball. It's going to be a 60 by 4.5 by 40. Puts the pin above my ring finger. CG is kind of stacked on top of it just below the ring finger. Orientate this so you can see that wonderful logo. This Idol Helios in particular, this is only the pin up Idol Helios. I do have a pin down Idol Helios as well. Generally I could potentially bring both of them along if I want to, if it's kind of looking like that kind of ball reaction is going to be key. But generally speaking, I'll only bring this pin up one along. This particular pin up Helios, I have 11 games on. I have a 251 average. I have 300 games with the pin-up Idol Helios, obviously, with that 900. 76% strike percentage and a 252 average if I were to convert all of my spares. This is a true benchmark piece. It reads the whole lane incredibly well, and it doesn't jump. It's not going to jump through the nose, leave you grandma's teeth. It's going to be really controllable. It's going to be smooth. I have a lot of people. I've drilled these up. I've drilled a ton of these up for customers. And everyone says how smooth it is, how predictable it is. It doesn't really jump on you. It you're able to really control the whole lane with this Idol Helios. I don't think I have to talk about this idle Helios a lot. You can go on Rotogrip's Facebook page. It seems like every other honor score they have is with an idle Helios. So this idle Helios is great. I obviously love it, and you guys will too. So the idle Helios is going to be the last ball in my main bag. All right, up next we have bag number 2. This is my next 3 balls. The other main bag that I'll be bringing to all of my tournaments. So up first we have the Storm Nova. This is actually my second Storm Nova. The first one kind of came with a little bit more top weight. The CG was kind of in a weird spot, so I wanted another one to drill, you know, just to kind of get some better weight in it and get just a better piece. So this piece here is drilled up a 45 by 5 by 35. This equates to a 5 by 4 by 2.5 in the VLS system. I don't really do a whole lot with VLS. It's I just want to get a little bit more fluent in VLS before I start laying all of my stuff out in VLS. I kind of was born and raised into the dual angle system. So I'm still working on VLS. I'm gonna be working to incorporate a little bit more of VLS into my videos. But the 45 by 5 by 35 equates to the pin way up here, kind of almost above my bridge. The CG is kind of flared out a little bit away from the thumb. So with this particular drilling of the Nova, I only have 4 games on it. I have an average of 240, a 268 high game, 68% strike percentage, and a 245 if I were to pick up all my spares. This ball, for me, it reads very, very early for me. It has, you know, what I think is a super strong sort of surface on it. It seems counterintuitive that a big surface ball with a decent weight block in it would be great on beat up lanes, but for me, when the lanes are really kind of transitioning, you kind of get into a wet dry sort of situation. This ball is fantastic. I actually won a tournament in February with my good buddy Heston. We bowled in a Super Bowl doubles tournament that would have been, as you can tell, on Super Bowl Sunday. I threw the phase 4 to start, then I switched to the Spectre, then I switched to the Nova for the last match and a half, 2 matches. And this Nova was really the MVP for me. I mean, like I said, it did really well on beat up lanes. I was really able to kind of control the wet dry that I was getting with the other balls. It was fantastic. I don't think you guys would regret picking up a Nova. Again, seems counterintuitive, but this ball is really, really great on beat up lanes. That is my Storm Nova. All right, up next we have the Spectre. The Spectre for me has also been a true MVP for me. I love throwing the Spectre. For me, it's great during middle of the block sort of area. This Spectre is laid out in a 60 by 5 by 35. This is a repeat from what would have been my February What Is in the Bag. So this pin is actually pretty high above my bridge. CG is just below the ring finger. I usually don't do a lot of 5-inch pins, but this one worked out really, really well. So with this Spectre, I have 9 games with it. I have a 245 average, high game of 268, 71% strike percentage, and a 246 spare average if I were to convert all of my spares. This Spectre is really clean, it goes very long, and it snaps really hard. It's a go-to ball when I need clearance through the fronts, when the fronts are getting a little fried from kind of these bigger asymmetric, strong surface sort of balls. I can switch to the Spectre. I'll be able to get clearance through the fronts. If there's a little bit of carry down, I'm not going to worry about it coming back. It's still going to snap back very, very well. I love the Spectre. I love going to it during the middle of the block. Like I said, when the lanes start getting beat up a little bit, you still need some continuation through the pin deck. The Spectre is awesome. I love it. You guys will too. That is the Storm Spectre. All right, guys, up next we have the fast pitch. This ball might bounce a little bit between my 2 main bags and my shadow bag. I'm pretty good at flattening out my wrist for the spares, so I can generally throw out a spare with the usual ball that I'm throwing, but it's also really nice to have a urethane ball along just in case you need it. This fast pitch, I haven't thrown too much on stuff that isn't a league shot. In fact, I only have 2 games with this fast pitch. But beforehand, let's go into the layout. So this layout is a 60 by 4 1/4 by 25. Puts the pin almost away from the ring finger. CG is right there, as you can see. So again, this fast pitch, I only have 2 games on it. Obviously, you don't throw a ton of urethane in league or anything like that. There was one night in league where I wasn't really doing well. I was really, really frustrated. Pulled out the urethane ball just to kind of get through the night. So again, I only have 2 games with the fast pitch. I have a 204 average. Again, that's only in league. I'm not throwing this. I haven't thrown this ball yet on any sort of sport shot or anything like that. High game of 237. 47% strike percentage, 210 average if I were to pick up all my spares. Obviously, it's urethane. I'll use it mostly for spares. Like I said, do have throw 2 games on it. It does offer control. Obviously, you see it on the tour. It's a hot topic on the tour right now, whether you should use urethane or not. A lot of these guys use it on kind of those harder patterns where they need to kind of control the entire pattern. You might not carry as well, but you're also not going to be leaving a ton of those ugly splits as well. So that's kind of the reasoning why they use urethane. That's the reason you would potentially use urethane on a pattern that's not exactly a short pattern. So that is the fast pitch. All right, first of all, I'm really happy I made it this far. I've tried filming this video last night, had a bunch of technical difficulties, so I'm just relieved to get this far. But anyways, we're into the shadow bag now. Up first in that shadow bag is the Hustle Camo. Because I have so many other great pieces, I don't generally use this Hustle Camo a whole lot. But first, before we kind of go into it, this is the layout on the Hustle Camo. It is a 45 by 4.25 by 40. Puts the pin just above the ring finger. CG is kicked out a fair amount there. In VLS, this equates to a 4.5 by 4 by 2.5. This Hustle Camo, I have, let me just orientate this quick. This Hustle Camo, I have a, let's see here. I have 3 games on this Hustle Camo. I have a 265 average, high game of 279, 82% strike percentage. Spares, if I were to convert all my spares, I'd be even. I've converted all my spares with this ball. Obviously, with those numbers, I probably should throw this ball a lot more than what I do. The Hustle is synonymous with being clean and a little bit sharper, which kind of sums up this ball. Honestly, this ball was so sharp on me and so strong, and it did get a little slimy on me, so I hit it with 2000. I knocked the shine off to read just a little bit earlier, and it does just that. It's an incredible ball. Even when I hit it at 2000, it's still very, very clean and still pretty sharp on the back end. So that is the Hustle Camo. All right, up next we have a new addition to at least my shadow bag this month. It is the Honey Badger Intensity, or the HB Intensity. This ball I have laid out as a 45 by 5 by 40. Puts the pin just above my ring finger here, kicks the CG out a fair amount that way. So as I mentioned last month, I worked on plugging this ball because I was playing around with a bunch of sort of like span changes during this last summer. Kind of wanted to give this ball a try, so I plugged it up, made the span to what I'm throwing it now, and I am absolutely in love with this ball. For me, it's a house shot killer. Whenever I'm struggling, I will switch to this HB Intensity, and I'm throwing the ball incredibly well. So, excuse me, I only have 2 games with this HB Intensity since I finished kind of plugging it and getting it right. I have a 267.5 average with this ball. So good. 278 high game, 81% strike percentage. My spare average is even. This ball is strong. Obviously this ball's been discontinued. Kind of disappointed that it is, because I probably would have gotten 1 if not 2 more. It's a great benchmark ball, which again is kind of disappointing that it's discontinued. I love the ball shape. You know, it's strong, but it's not overly strong where it's just unpredictable or you feel like you can't control it. It just shapes in the right places, in the right parts of the lane. I love it. I still wish they made it. Unfortunately, they don't, but that is the HB Intensity. All right, and the last ball in my shadow bag, the last ball we're going to be going over tonight is my new Zen. I unfortunately have not put any more games on it since the month of February, but it's still going to stay in my bag. The layout is still the same. It is a 45 by 4 by 40. Puts the pin just above my ring finger there. CG is kicked out a fair amount to the right. So with the Zen, like I said, the numbers are still the same as last month. I have one game with it, a 237 average. 237, obviously high game, 63% strike percentage, and my spare percentage is even. I made all my makeables in that 237 game. It is an even controllable shape for a pearl. It doesn't really snap too much for a pearl. I think it's because it's got that really big sort of core in it. So it has a bigger footprint on the lane, which makes it a little bit more kind of controllable instead of really just snapping left and just being borderline uncontrollable. So I love the Zen. It's going to come with me everywhere. So that is the Zen. And that is my what is in the bag. Make sure you comment below. What do you think? What would you add? What would you replace? What do you think of my arsenal? I'd love to hear you guys. I do try and I look over all the comments. I try to respond as much as I can. Comment also video ideas. As of right now, I don't really have anything coming down the pipeline. Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, they haven't really announced any more balls that are going to be coming out anytime soon. So kind of relying on you guys to come up with some video ideas for me. So comment down below. Some ideas that I have are tournament vlogs, maybe some PBA analysis and breakdown of some of the tournaments that are coming up. I know the World Series of Bowling is coming up next week, so that would be kind of interesting to go over. If you want to see more bowling tips and tricks, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other video ideas, make sure you comment them down below. I'd love to hear them, love to give them a try. Again, I've had comments about kind of ball strength, layouts, and I'm trying to respond to all of the videos that I can, or all the comments that I can, because I have been receiving a fair amount of comments lately. A lot of sort of, what do you think about this layout? What do you think about this? And again, I try and respond to all of them. So now that we have all that out of the way, if you want to save yourself 20% off of your Logo Infusion or I Am Bowling order, you can use my promo code down here. It's going to be Firehouse07. You can use that to save yourself 20% at checkout. They have an incredible amount of jersey designs. This one that I'm wearing is great. This is part of their USA collection that they just made again. It's nice to belong to it's nice to belong to a company that loves this country so much. I love this country. It's fantastic, and if you do too, you should head on over to support I Am Bowling. Again, I want to thank Storm and I Am Bowling for their continued support. Like I said in the intro, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be doing this without their continued love and support, and I honestly just cannot thank you enough. So again, no real plans for upcoming videos, so make sure you comment your video ideas. That's all I got. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until the next video, good luck and good bowling.